You guys, today we're going over the Myca Cap. Now, I'm a little terrified because this is the first wild mushroom with gills that I will ever consume. Everybody says, don't consume wild mushrooms, but if you're going to consume wild mushrooms, don't consume ones that have gills. Now, you might be wondering, Logan, why are gilled mushrooms so bad? And that's because some of the very deadliest mushrooms, and really there aren't that many relative to how many mushrooms exist in the world, but some of the deadliest mushrooms have gills. So some of the experts like Scheiman and Schuster say that you should stay away from gilled mushrooms because there's so many lookalikes that could make you sick or kill you. But today we're gonna go over the gilled Myca Cap. Here is a big flush of Myca Caps. These ones look like they're rotting, but they're actually self-digesting, which opens up the cap and helps with spore dispersal. Myca caps are often confused with ink caps because they self-digest, but ink caps have a black spore print, and these, after I did their spore print, I realized they have brown spores, and it's really hard to tell. You gotta look closely because when the spores pile up on each other, it can actually look black, so look closely. Other quick features of the Myca cap are the striate, those lines that run at least halfway up the cap, tan to light brown coloring on the cap with white hollow stems, and the ring from the veil is usually non-existent like in these caps. But the biggest giveaway for Myca caps is usually they're growing in huge clusters where the mushroom heads are smushed together. All of them are relatively the same height, about 8 to 10 centimeters high. And there is a lot of them. Usually there's one flush that's completely black, another young flush coming up next to it, and then another flush of like 30 mushrooms that are in perfect eating condition. With all that said, you cannot watch this movie and then be like, oh, I know what a Myca cap is, and then run outside and pick the first mushroom that you see and eat it thinking it's a Myca cap, because that will get you poisoned or killed. You need to start with a fantastic reference, and at the very least, you have to make a spore print, measure the mushrooms, and understand the environment that it's growing in. But let's see how it tastes. First time ever eating a gilled mushroom. I hope I identified these correctly. I definitely overcooked this. The thought process was that if I overcooked it, that would make it safer, but probably all I did was ruin the taste. Here it goes. Honestly, it tasted no different than a store-bought mushroom cooked up with onions, which is exactly what I did. If you go foraging specifically for the Myca cap, you're most likely going to fail because mushrooms have an incredibly short lifespan. They could be there one day and then 2 days later, there's no trace left of them. The best thing you can do is pick a forest and then get to know the variety of mushrooms that grow in that specific forest so that when you do go mushroom hunting there and you find whatever mushroom happens to be growing that day, then you have a higher chance of being able to eat it, or at least identify it. If you live in the Midwest and you want to learn more about mushrooms, plants, and bugs that you can forage and eat, then check out some of my other videos because there's a lot of good wild things that you can put in your mouth.